Hi, I'm Kurt from Armour and welcome to Workshop Wednesday. This week we're back on our STUG 3G where Glenn and Bo are working hard to get the cupola and rear engine decks all completed, just in time to start the real work, the running gear and the internal hull components. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Without further ado, we bring you episode 6 of the STUG 3G. This cupola is bent and twisted, so it has to be pulled apart, heated, straightened, and put back together. The Commander's cupola is able to rotate 360 degrees. This is because it's mounted on a ball bearing race.
So you line this ring up, the inner ring with the outer ring, and that's where the balls are put in and taken back out through there. But that was on the opposite side, and so for us to get that around to there it was pretty hard.
Even though Glenn and Bo have straightened this part as best they can, it's still not quite perfect. To get the ball bearings in, Bo has to use these clamps to pull it square. It ain't pretty, but sometimes that's the price you have to pay for using original parts.
See how much it took to get it into shape? The clamps and everything. So that, just to show you it's not round. But it is now because all the bolts are in. So that's originally where it was. So it has to be right. If it's not, blame the Germans. Hard bit. There. This has got to work. Feed the balls in through this way. Take it off, flip it, and then put it back on it. It'll be one piece. How does that work? That one was tight and the next one went through it. See, this is a hit here. That's actually been damaged by a round. You can see that actually lines up with another piece that's been hit, and it's like a I don't know, like a ricochet, like 20 mil or something that's actually hit it and gone right through. Take all these down that way. Now we can just bunch them all up at the back here. Just start working them all the way around to the back and then just bring them like this around to the front. That's the idea anyway. No, I'm not an expert on this. I don't know how many are supposed to go in.
I'm sure someone will tell us.
Someone will say, but...
If you know how many ball bearings go into a late war STUG 3G cupola ball bearing race, let us know in the comments.
It's never going to spin free again, sort of thing. This sort of thing is pretty hard to try and straighten up again. Really, you need a new one. But this is an original one, so we're using it.
The boys have been working on the rear deck since last year. We showed you a bit of a glimpse of the work that had been done in our Christmas special, so some of this might be a little bit familiar, but if you missed it, here's some of the process from start to finish, plus a bit extra.
It's actually really, really good because we're not making anything up. You know, we've got all these original bits. We can copy things. Like the other side's missing this piece here, but it's got this one. If we didn't have this piece here, we'd be pretty much just guessing.
I promise you, the transformation is incredible. For a comparison of how bent and deformed the rear decks were, here is this piece of flat bar.
So that's where it would have been like that.
My own little bit of beautiful welding is somewhere under there.
High enough?
Yeah.
Good.
Bo is prepping the underside of the rear deck so that he can attach the hatch frames. A few days later, Bo has everything welded up.
This piece here is the original seal. So this has got a little tin piece on here where the rubber seal would attach to. This is all just completely rusted away, unusable. As you can see, it's in really bad condition. It was all bent, and we've made a new one to go around so we can attach a rubber seal to that. It's welded in with these scallops in here on each one. This is just like a tin plate they had on the back that was to direct the airflow out of the rear of the engine deck. Because if that tin piece wasn't there, you'd have air hitting underneath this flat bar that's here. It wouldn't overheat, it just wouldn't push the air out as good. This is an original one that was in there, and yeah, as you can see, they're in pretty bad condition.
Pretty bad condition is something we've said a lot during this build.
We're not actually going to use this toolbox anymore for obvious reasons. It's a bit sad. Plus, we've actually got another original one which is in perfect condition. This is not usable. Unfortunately, it would be nice because it's the original one to the tank, but as you can see, it's not actually there anymore. So we took this over to Alan to see if he could fix it for us, because you know he's the master at sheet metal. So took it over there and he said, "Oh no, it's a bit far gone, I think."
I reckon he's right.
See, we have a better one.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit.
The STUG pile is getting smaller and smaller. Bo has to grab the engine hatch covers and pull them apart so they can be sandblasted and painted.
That's easy. That's good now. Lift that up. Your time. Now you take your time. That's your time. Paint on it. Do that.
That piece attached to the hatch is where a spare road wheel would be mounted.
Like that, down each side.
And presto, looking very tidy. Time to reassemble and mount onto the rear deck.
That's something no one would really ever see, probably.
These pieces are covered in number stamps. It would be amazing if some kind of record existed that would tell us what they all mean.
Okay, that's a small hatch. Right. Just interchangeable. So it should be fine. But this is the one we're looking at right now. This hatch here. How did they do it? This one was always like this. Yep.
This mesh was attached to vents to prevent grenades being dropped into the engine bay. The originals are long gone, but Bo was able to fabricate some really nice new ones.
No. Further. It's past that lip, man.
Here's a little detail that only became apparent after the hatches were fitted.
Probably to stop this thing here getting bent.
So if you're doing a model STUG, don't forget these little blocks.
Don't forget the block.
This stowage rail was bent out of a twisted mess. We're lucky it was even usable after all these years. We're not starting on the tool holders and clamps just yet. They'll deserve their own video in the future.
this actually fits neatly around this piece here. So it sort of just locks itself in. See how we go with this though, because this is a little bit bent sharp.
So iconic, so schön, so STUG.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for your incredible feedback in the comments. Some of you guys are absolutely hilarious. And don't miss your weekly tank restoration fix next Wednesday. So until then, I'm Kurt from Armour, and I'll see you on the next one.